We're live, pigs in space, in honor of Pizza Rizzo opening back up again today, or as a soft opening. I don't know if you saw that link I sent you earlier, or me tagging you.
I did.
I didn't get a chance to actually watch the video. I saved it for later, but I saw that. I'm like, oh, it's live. I wonder if Danny's got a break and he's going to take a look at it. So
they killed it.
I saw bits and pieces. They said there was very little like Muppets actually, motif.
Yeah.
But even the gentleman that was doing the live stream actually kind of made the comment, it's probably the same. It looks like the same menu. Hey,
are you surprised?
Yeah. So, hi, Kayla. Hi, Kayla. Hi, Kayla. All right. Let's see. Let me go over to Facebook. Let me go over to my thing. Let me go over here. Let's see. I got to turn to public. There we go. Share. Share to a page. Well, actually, I know what I'll do. I will share to a friend's timeline first. Share to a friend's timeline. That friend's timeline is Danny.
Oh, you're sharing it to mine?
Sharing it to yours, and that way you can go ahead and share it more so.
I'm putting it on our page right now.
Okay. Share. Oops.
Okay. Disney work at home jobs. Yes, please.
Okay, I've done some sharing. Da 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 da. Ba da da. Ba da da. Kayla, I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. Boom. We'll get started here in just a minute. Danny takes a drink of water. Danny takes a drink of water. Da 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 da. You really need to find someone that can sing us a theme song.
That'd be cool. That would be really cool, actually.
This is the theme to our show. This is the theme to our show. This is the theme that plays when we begin our podcast.
No, we don't even need someone to sing it. We just need the background music at Casey's.
Oh, man. Oh, no. I need to record that guy that plays the piano at Casey's during the middle of the day.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be cool. If I could find that, that would be so all over that. Okay.
All right, so start recording in 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears Podcast. As always, I am your host, Uncle Danny. Alongside of me is the famous Mr. Chris. Chris, how are we doing tonight?
Let's just not forget that I'm only famous in about 3 counties, and that's about it. But hey, what can I say? Is it better to be famous or infamous? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I'll take famous.
Okay, that's deep thoughts right there in the beginning of the show. So it's going to get better from there. All right, and so tonight, Danny, we've got mail today to go through. We got some listener questions. Mail time. We need a theme song for the mail time. But anyway,
Blue's Clues.
Yeah, I don't think we can get the rights for that, but that's okay. But first, program note. In one of our previous episodes, we mentioned that it was now reported that the $5 delivery fee that was going to be set up by the resorts for accepting packages on a guest behalf was going to be applied, to all different resorts and not just to conference resorts. Well, this is still yet to be confirmed, but supposedly Disney has stated that it does not apply to local businesses that deliver. So if you're a regular customer of, like, say, Garden Grocer, Dizzy Dolphin, or any of the places that deliver scooters or strollers or anything like that, supposedly that $5 fee will not be imposed upon those particular deliveries. I think that's good. I think that's what probably should be the case, but again, it's unconfirmed. I haven't received a message back from Disney yet. That's okay. There seems to be a lot of people that are finding that sort of thing out. So that's good news. And I just wanted to pass along to our guests really quick, just to make sure that we get out the most latest and greatest. But let's go through some mail. We got a pretty good amount of mail in our inbox over the past week or so. And let me just go ahead and start off. We have Beth from North Carolina. She basically says, "Hey guys, I got a question. One that is known to stir up controversy in the past." Ooh, this ought to be interesting. The question is that I am concerned about crowds and being able to keep track of my 3 kids. They're all younger and they have a tendency to all run in different directions. My husband and I would like to know what you think about using backpack leashes. Again, please don't judge me. We just want to plan this out and prepare as best as possible. Thanks much. I'm not going to judge. I mean, 3 kids, 2 parents, 3 kids. I mean, that's especially, she's saying that they're younger. So I'm going to make an assumption that they're, under 4-ish or so. She didn't say, but I'll go ahead and make some assumptions. I mean, if they're kind of in that stage of being able to run around and stuff like that, but hey, listen, I understand how it was one time. My daughter actually got lost in a department store one time, and she was hiding under a rack of clothes type of thing. It was actually kind of funny. But backpack leashes, I've seen them. I think they kind of have their place, but I've never used one. You know what I'm talking about, though, haven't you? Haven't you seen that?
Yes, I've seen them.
Okay.
Because I just think of the worst case scenario. I could just see like one kid running the left, so you have to yank it like you're walking your dog, and then one kid's gonna get tangled up around somebody else. The other one's gonna get tangled up around you, and it's gonna be just pure mayhem in the Magic Kingdom.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can see that. I mean, I'm going to assume something though. If they're younger kids, I know it's like you kind of have to use that plus a stroller, possibly for the youngest of the youngest. So you may not necessarily need to have like backpack leashes for all of them. I would hope. I'm guessing. That's actually I think that would be kind of difficult. I don't know. I think right now is like this. One of the things that I've written over at Mouse Planet with the Parenting in the Parks articles over there is that my common theme is you have to try things out for yourself before you get to the parks. So if you know that you have kids that kind of, are able to get away from the parents rather quickly, try this. Go to a mall, a small mall, especially when it's not really crowded, or even a small amusement park. Or go, even if you have some kind of a special event at, in your local town, something that's a little bit more controlled, not a whole bunch of crowds, but you want to try something like that out. And you have, like, say, a stroller with you. You have one of your children on a backpack leash. Give it a try. See how it works, but have the scenario set up in such a way where it's very similar to what you would do at Disney. So if it's going to be you, your 3 kids, plus your husband, try to make sure it's you, your 3 kids, plus your husband. try to mimic or find out what the best way to keep track of your kids works for you. And I think that's actually one of those cases that it's not going to be the same for everybody. So I'm sorry that some people seem like they're going to be judgy on this sort of thing. Hey, I'm a parent too, and I've always been concerned about losing my kids. But, fortunately, never really had that, issue personally. But that, it doesn't mean that, just because you have a kid that likes to be active and likes to, look at things and get away from the parents, it doesn't mean you can't enjoy Disney. It just means that it may take a little practice before you get to Disney so you know how to work with them. And then you can take the appropriate action at Disney. So hopefully you could avoid the entanglement that Danny was kind of mentioning. Yeah. But I could see that happening, though, Danny. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, you can't just use, any kind of a backpack leash or a restraint system just on their own. You kind of have to have an understanding of how your kids are going to react to them. And otherwise you may end up like that. And I could see where that would be something of a problem. I could picture myself like, I
see that. And then I see that. And then I see like the style of like diamond plated, like leather leash and like calling your kid Spike. Just running around like a little dog, like ridiculous. Like there's so many scenarios. I don't know.
And unfortunately, when you say, are you thinking of the character Spike from the Tom and Jerry cartoons?
Yes, that's where I was hoping you understood where I was going with this.
You say that, I'm like, I think of that big dog that just always constantly tries to cook the steak, and Tom and Jerry trying to steal the steak. And anyway, never mind.
Can't you picture like maybe a bit of a pudgier kid, or I guess now whatever, the huskier child with like some spiked hair and some goofy t-shirt just running around biting people's ankles, and that's just a vision I get when kids are on leashes. I don't know, but I don't have kids, so I would love to be a part of the conversation. I feel like I don't want to judge you because I don't know how I feel about leashes. Like, I don't know, but this is the way I look at it. There are a lot of places you can go and figure out how other parents do it. There's plenty of forums out there where you can reach out to parents and see what to do. Because as much as we're both in Disney, I don't see many backpack leashes. So my suggestion is see how other people are doing it, because I've seen people there with more than just 3 kids. How do they maintain that?
Well, that's a good question, and a lot of times you see more than 3 kids. You're hopefully not dealing with more than 3 kids to a single caregiver. Mm-hmm. I mean, hopefully that's not the case. I mean, I have seen the scenario put into place where you have parents and or caregivers saying, "I'm going to have 4 kids with me. How do I control them?" And I think it's more difficult if they're not your own kids. Let's say you have a small group and you're trying to have everybody have a good time. I even think that way it's more like what if your kids are 5, 6, 7, 8 years old? They're still younger. They could still walk away or wander away. I think it's just a matter of figuring out how old they are versus what can they expect from you as a parent. What should you expect from them as a child? And practice and plan accordingly.
Kayla said put a GPS on them. That's Big Brother stuff right there.
I'm not necessarily going to say that if that was like 4 or 5 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, okay, fine. That's haha, very funny. But, I'm not going to say that that's a bad idea anymore. I mean, I'm not worried about anybody abducting my child. And I never have been at Disney, even when my kids were younger. Never worried about that one bit. Not saying that I put my guard down, but I never had a real worry about it. Even though I'd let my daughter do certain things on her own. And I let my son do a few things on his own. But it's just one of those things. But nowadays it's like sometimes you stop and you say to yourself, maybe I need a little bit of extra help. Well, there's one thing to keep in mind, something, and that is Disney always looks at it like this: you never have lost children, you only have lost parents. And I'm pretty sure that if you have a young child that is younger than preteen age, they're not going to let them through the exit gates. And so I wouldn't worry about that. There will always be a cast member that will find your child, and they have a great protocol in place in order to help reunite kids and parents. So just in case the worst happens. So
I wonder if you go to the backpack leashes. What now, instead of like holding them like you're, a dog walker professionally, and you have like a herd of children in front of you, what happens if you tied the leashes to the carriage so the kids still have a little bit of free room to like wiggle around and steal their kids' ice cream, but still where you can walk and have your children next to you? You see what
you probably can. And the only problem is, what the first thing I picture in my mind is you have it, you have a child restrained, hooked up to your stroller, and all of a sudden, you're going straight, but then that child does goes totally the opposite direction and then yanks on the stroller. Whoever's in the stroller is going to go whoop, and topple over, and you're going to have a safety hazard. So because of that, I would probably say don't do that.
But if you're pushing the carriage, you should be able to counteract your child's weight by pulling the carriage.
It kind of depends on the carriage, because if you're talking about the big 30-pound, fold up stroller, it's Cadillac on the side or something like that, and with the big wheels and this, that, and the other, maybe I would still think there's some risk there. Okay. But if you're talking something as light as an umbrella stroller, or there was even we had a stroller that was very lightweight but very roomy for our son. Either one of those could have probably, a good yank by an active 4-year-old with some good tennis shoes, would probably, take it down. And I think you have to be careful about that. I think it's a good idea in some ways. I mean, if you have a child that's going to walk beside you, and you just don't want that child to be, you don't want to accidentally lose them in the crowd. You probably can. I don't know. I guess I'm thinking and talking at the same time, and that's not quite working. I probably wouldn't do that, but if it works for a parent, it may,
turning into a 3-legged race. Just tie your kids by the ankles too, so they can't go anywhere.
Well,
or tie them to your belt if you both tie a rope in between you. I don't know. I'm throwing ideas out here. I have no idea. I don't have children. Maybe this is a reason why I don't have children. We should all be thankful that I don't have children.
And everybody wonders, why does Chris and Danny make such a great team? Because we have two totally different ways of looking at things, just because of our experiences. And you know what? That's okay. We would love to hear some additional ideas from parents who actually have used, different types of restraint systems. I mean, again, I personally don't judge any parent for doing that sort of thing, because quite honestly, just like anything else, it's a tool. And whatever you can use in order to help make your Disney experience better for you and your child, go for it. I do think that there needs to be some extra practice just to make sure that how your children are going to react to that. And, whether it be one child that you're with that you just want to keep track of, or multiple, like in the case of what Beth says, it's just a matter of what works best for you. We'll have to see how it goes. Yeah, let's go on and continue. Beth, hopefully that answers your question, and let us know if there's anything else we can do for you. We got David from Delaware. Right? Yeah. Home of tax-free shopping, by the way. That's what it says on the billboard as you go into the state. I kid you not. He says, dudes, he actually says that in big, bold capital letters. Dudes, I totally need a Disney fix. He goes, I really know what Danny is going through right now. Mm-hmm. Because it's been a long time since I went home. and I may not be able to go down for at least a year, maybe longer. Let's see, I'm reading this. About how long should I consider booking my trip? And what is the furthest out you guys have ever booked your next trip? Okay, so this is more of a question of, how do you book your trip, a year in advance, 6 months in advance, or what have you? That's a great question. And let's see, I think the longest we've ever done was probably 14 months that we actually booked from one trip to another. And that was a long 14 months. And it was when we first booked it, it was not a package. It was just a room only. But we did 14 months. So here's my tip, David. I know there's a lot of people that like to wait for the packages to come out, and more so specials or incentives to come out, such as free dining, or a huge percentage off, or if the Disney Visa card has a special promo or something like that. I would probably say my stance on things like this is that if you want to book a trip at a certain time, even if it may be 14, 16 months out, book at least your room at the resort for which you would most desire to be at. You only have to put down one night's deposit, and that is fully refundable, up to a certain time before you have to actually pay it all off. The cool part is this. Yes, you're going to pay most likely full rack rate at that time, because there's probably going to be no incentives. But you have your first choice in lodging. So if you really want a spot at a Contemporary, and you want, club level or something like that, book as soon as you know your dates. And, book as soon as you feel like you can go ahead and do it, and then sit on it. Basically, this is the case for, looking for the incentives that come out afterwards, whether it be free dining, discount, or whatever. The big thing here is this is where a travel agent really comes into play. And what I mean by that is more specifically a good Disney-related travel agent. And, there's several that Danny and I know. And a lot of times what those travel agents will do is they will search out certain discounts and offers, etc., even as they come out later down the road. So one comes out 6 months down the road, they will see what they can do applying that discount to your vacation, and yet saving you money. So I think that's one of those cases. As soon as you know that you could do it. Danny, what about you? What's the longest you've ever done?
The longest, probably about the year, probably that 12 months. That's usually my goal. You know what? I'd like to be around that 12-month 8 spot. Yeah. All right. Let's do it this way. You got to look at it both ways. I'll break it down for you, my style.
Break it down.
If you book a year out, you get security. And what I mean by security is you're picking the room you want in the hotel you want at the time you want. But on the opposite side, you run the risk of paying a higher price than you would maybe 3 weeks out or 6 months out. So it depends on what you want to do more. If you're a gambler and you want to roll the dice and say, okay, I'm going to wait to get that better deal, that's fine and dandy. But don't be upset when you don't get what you're looking for. Dave, if you go back to a couple of our older episodes, I tried to book a trip last minute, and it was during October that, just passed, and the cheapest room was Art of Animation for $342 a night.
Wow, that's right.
So do it this way. Everything else was sold out, so they started jacking the prices up. I guarantee you, if I had tried to book that same week, a year earlier, 6 months earlier, 8 months earlier, I would have had more options, and I guarantee you there's a reason why Riverside was sold out, Port Orleans was sold out, Caribbean was sold out, because normally they're in the mid twos, low, even sometimes more than likely always in the lower 200s for a night. So, you know, I took a gamble. I'm a gambler. I lost. It is what it is. So, you know, if you can, I like to start booking a year out. And what I honestly like to do is a little tip is about 13 months, I would say maybe 14 or 15 months out, I am starting to get an idea of where I want to be. You know, I'm starting to get an idea of, okay, you start to narrow down your prices. I mean, not the prices, narrow down your selection of where you want to go. That's if you don't care about, you know, say you say, okay, you know, I'm going for the Wine and Food Festival, so I want to be closer to Epcot. Well, okay, then start narrowing it down. You know, you've got Boardwalk, Beach, Yacht, or maybe you say, you know what, I want to be on a monorail. Okay, you've got Grand Floridian, Poly, Contemporary, or maybe you want to stay moderate. Okay, this. You want to stay, you know, I want a family suite. Figure out your needs and start planning it. No one says you have to book 12 months out, 8 months out, whatever you want to do, but know what you want and watch the market, because Disney will tell you when they're running out of rooms. You know, and you could, if you know, even if you go on about, you know, every day for 5 minutes for a week straight, you're going to start to see when those prices are rising, there's a reason. It's because things are selling out and Disney is trying to capitalize it like any other business. So keep an eye out for that. But I would say definitely around the 15-month mark, start getting your ideas in order. And around that 12 to 8 months, I'm saying that's when you really should be booking everything. And just do know you're getting safety and security, but you're paying for it in the long run. But to me, safety and security is worth the extra maybe $30 or $20 a day you're really going to end up paying in the long run.
Yeah, and also keep in mind something, that if you wait for some of the offers, excuse me, the biggest thing is this: not all offers are going to be created equal for every resort. A lot of times when those offers come out, they have a limited availability. You know, the whole resort is not going to be opened up to a particular offer. So the fact is that if you wait and you're waiting for an offer, you know, you might have to change a date or two. You might have to change the resort, the actual resort itself, or maybe even a room type within the resort. But sometimes if you do the math, you know, you might be able to go ahead and actually get, you know, even an upgraded room for a little bit less, or a different type of room for a lot less. Just be flexible, talk with your travel agent, and see what will come up and what can work out for you. I have known people that have changed their reservation a number of times from when they first, you know, booked the trip to about, you know, a couple of months before the trip actually is, just because of the different types of offers that do come out, and sometimes they're last minute. A good travel agent will help you, you know, work through all those particular items, and they'll help you get you the best, you know, the best value for your dollar, and they'll keep you in mind for that. So keep that in mind. Also, I will say this, that if you do book directly through Disney, you can still call up and say, hey, are there any offers going on? Or I heard about this particular offer. Can you apply it? They'll be a lot more than happy to help you as well. So I would say prefer a travel agent in a lot of cases. But at the same time, I've done it both ways. The Disney travel agents have been very helpful. We've had other independent travel agents have been very helpful. Just give it a try. Keep in mind something. I have also seen different luck with different types of travel agents. So, you know, if you don't like one, go try another. You know, just, you know, be courteous of their time as well. So, and
yeah, you can always contact me. I'm sorry, go ahead. No, I didn't want to cut you off.
No, fine, go ahead.
You can always contact me or Chris. We do, you know, we'll help you with any planning you want to do, but just right off the bat, you know, we are not like, you know, we are not a travel agency. Maybe one day, but as of right now, we are not. But we can give you our personal opinion on things, and we can also tell you, you know, okay, these are the people we highly recommend. You know, we're not going to, we make no money by sending people anywhere. So in the grand scheme of things, we're only going to send you to people that we trust. But that is your option. You can always figure that out. But thanks you for sending in that listener question. That was a good one.
That is really, really good. Okay, next in our mailbag. Greshel from Georgia writes.
I like that name.
That's a cool name. Yeah, it is. We're about to head down for a Christmas vacation. Woohoo! Oh, wait. I was just thinking this when I read this. Well, nowhere near like the Griswolds. I know, one of my favorite movies of Christmas, between, Elf, A Christmas Story, and, of course, Christmas Vacation. Anyway, we were wondering, do the resort pools close because of a dip in the temps? Thanks much for the show, and have a great one. Thanks, Greshel. Thanks for writing in, too, I might add. I know we kind of one of the last times we talked a little bit about the water parks. So let me go ahead and clarify on the resorts. The resort pools are heated, and they are open pretty much all the time except for, totally inclement weather. There have been times where we knew that the temps in December were actually going to dip dangerously close to freezing. I remember at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, as a matter of fact, they actually covered a lot of the plants to try to keep frost from forming. I'm like, why are they doing that? And I'm like, oh, wait a second, that's right. It may be 78 during the day, but it was going to dip down to like 35 that night or something. And you could see the steam starting to roll off the pool. It was really kind of cool. So they do have, the pools are heated. The pools are heated, I should say, excuse me for saying that poorly. Some things you have to take in consideration. The hot tubs are awesome until you try to get out of them when it's cold. The pools are awesome until you try to get out of them when it's cold. Go when it's nice and sunny, because that warmth from the sun really does help. If it's breezy, it may feel good when you're not wet, but coming out of the pool, it can be cooler. But yes, we have actually gone into the pool when it was steaming. Just because it was a lot cooler on the outside. And there have been times, I remember we were at the Animal Kingdom Lodge and we're like, it's time for dinner. I don't want to get out of the pool. Neither do I. So yeah, you could do that. So it's really not a big deal. Go ahead and pack your swimsuits and have a good time with it. So, have you ever been in a pool, Danny, when it's like, I don't want to get out because it's too cold, the water's too nice and warm?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's times like I'll be outside and I'll be like, oh, it's a little chilly in Florida today. And I'll go in the pool and I'll be like, oh, man, that water's chilly. But then you get acclimated to that water temperature. And then you go to stand up and normally I try to keep just my head above water. Everything else stays under. I'll stand up in the shallow and be like, nope, going back under. Nope, I'm just going to live in this pool till it gets warmer because I'm not getting out. And the worst part is, you grab your towel and you try to make a beeline into the hotel. You're still dripping wet. And then open up that door, and most of the time that air conditioning hits you. And you're like, instant icicle. I'm just stuck in the hallway, like frozen.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when my sister got married in 2011 in Disney, it was cold. Like, we had to be up to one morning. It was like 5:30 in the morning. They woke us up, and it was, I'll tell you what, we left a cold New Jersey to go to a cold Florida. And it's funny, the whole week we were there, it never broke 60 degrees. The week we leave was almost in the 90s. I was like, of course. But to me, it was awesome because I didn't want 90s. No way. I just dealt with New Jersey summer. I wanted to, because 60 is comfortable. But when you don't prepare for 60, it's cold.
One of my son's first trips, I think it was his like second trip down. He was like less than a year old, and went in December. And when we got there, the first day, it was 82 degrees. It was beautiful. It was sunny. The next day it was like 78 degrees. Still beautiful. Still sunny. We're like, oh, this is great. By the fourth day, it was like high was like 55, and then the last day it was like the high was like 45. It was a really bad cold snap. And the hilarious part to it is that two things happened. One, when we left, Chicago, we left our winter coats and sweat jackets and stuff like that in the car. So we didn't have those with us because we're like, oh, it's Florida.
Yeah.
And then, we ended up buying, jackets and sweat jackets. And my son had this really cool, baby Mickey and Minnie hat on and with the gloves and, mittens, I should say. And, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, Disney was really well prepared because they had plenty of warm stuff for us to wear.
It was that cold. Wow.
It was. I mean, it was like by the time we left, we are just like, darn, this is cold. And I'm glad we bought the extra warm stuff because, when we finally got off the plane, it was just darn right cold in Chicago. And I'm like, you ever go leave your jacket outside in the car and the next time you go out to the car, it's cold. You need that jacket. You put it on. It's still cold. Yeah, that's what it could have been. So anyway, but go and enjoy your Christmas vacation. Really hope you have a good time. If you haven't heard our episode on the Christmas party, please feel free to go take a listen to that because we kind of picked that apart and we hope that you're able to enjoy it. Okay, so let's see. Next item up for bid. Steven from New York. Cool. He goes, I'm a foodie like you guys. Glad he recognizes that. Oh, yeah. Hey, you don't get a body like this by, eating salads on vacation. I'll tell you that right now. Let's see. I'm a foodie like you guys, and I really liked your shows about food. For our next trip, we're using the dining plan, and I keep seeing people post things on Facebook like they have a day left and tons of credit left over. I'm nervous that I'll be leaving credits on the table, as he puts in quotes. Can you give me some tips on how to make sure I use all my entitlements? Thanks in advance. And if for some reason I do have any snack credits left over, do you want anything? Oh, yes. Please feel free to go ahead and purchase Mickey Rice Krispie treats with chocolate ear sprinkles on top, and you can send those to Chris, P.O. Box Awesomeness. No, just kidding. So no, just kidding with that.
I want to take lead on this one.
Go for it.
I'm excited about this question. Okay. This is what you got to do. Obviously, you're pre-booking, so you know how many credits you're going to have. Disney does a very good job of telling everybody what each restaurant will cost. If it's a sit-down, how many credits. So plan out your major meals. If you have full sit-down dining credits, plan those out. Realize that some require 2, some only require 1. You maybe want to do a sit-down breakfast. Plan all those out. Quick service, try to, as the day goes on, plan it out. Just make sure as long as you use 1 quick service a day, you're going to be okay. For the snacks, when I went, we had a lot of snacks left over. Now, a couple of our friends had kids, so what we decided to do is we went to the hotel and, we got the Rice Krispie ears. We got the Mickey Mouse cookies. That's what we used. So basically, we got our friends' kids a souvenir and sort of didn't pay for it. We paid for the dining plan anyway, but we were, like you said, we were going to leave these credits on the table. So we decided to, okay, well, instead of buying them a little stuffed animal for $20, we're just going to get, or a keychain or whatever the case is. We now got them something that they're going to like. It's Disney, and at the end of the day, it didn't really cost us a dime. But yeah, definitely plan ahead, realize where you want to go, what it's going to cost you to go there. I always recommend, if you're going down, you have the credits, I always recommend going to 1 nice sit-down restaurant and 1 character breakfast. So, and most of the time, that nice sit-down restaurant, say you're there for 5 days, one of those the sit-down restaurant might cost you 2, and most of the breakfasts are going to cost you 2. So right off the bat, if you're there for 5 days, you just used 4 of your days worth of meals. So then what you do is then those days where you don't have that credit anymore, you make sure that you use maybe an extra quick service that day. See where I'm going with this? Just because you might not have say you eat at Le Cellier on Monday night, you use 2 credits. Well, now Tuesday, you basically just use Tuesday's sit down credit. So now you can use Monday's quick service credit that you probably didn't use because you're not going to want to have a quick service meal and then go to Le Cellier. It doesn't work that, it's too much food. So that's that's the way I like to handle it, Chris.
Well, yeah. And at the same time, keep in mind, you're given all of your entitlements at one time and you can use them any way you want. They are good until midnight the day you check out. They're good the day you check in, from midnight the day you check out. And you can use them any way you want, kind of like what Danny was saying. totally get it. Use those things for those character meals. Go enjoy some of the awesomeness at some of the sit-down restaurants, and especially the signature ones. But I'll tell you this right now. Plan it out, like Danny said. Plan it out as far in advance as you can, especially at that 180-day mark. Get those ADRs in for your table service eateries. Don't expect that you're going to be able to go and get walk-up service to a lot of the table service eateries. Just plan it out, and you'll not have a problem. I do agree with Danny. The snacks, they're kind of the harder ones to keep track of, right? Because you're going to get a couple snacks for per day or something like that, and you can easily go through them. I mean, hey, a Mickey premium ice cream bar has now gone up to $5, and so the thing is that first thing I would say is Mickey premium ice cream bar and a bottle of Diet Coke.
You were so if you guys don't know this, me and Chris talk on a daily basis. And I mean, every day for basically when I wake up in the morning till we come doing this, we talk periodically throughout a day. He was so mad about this Mickey bar going up to $5.
Seriously.
It went up 50 cents, people. It went up from $4.50 to $5. He was so mad. And he's not the only one.
No, I'm not the only one. But it's like, oh my God. Okay. I want to tell you right now, I'm not mad because it's gone up 50 cents. Okay. It's just, there are some things that you have to stop and say, this is getting ridiculous price wise. That is what I think is kind of a little on the high side.
At $4.50, it was too high.
Well, here's the thing. When I was talking to my wife earlier today, and I told her about this, and her jaw kind of dropped down to the floor too. And it was one of those cases where she's like, "Do you realize when we first started going that the premium ice cream bars were like $2.50 a piece?
Turkey legs used to be $6 when I used to get them."
Yeah, and so it was one of those things where. It's expensive. Okay. So use those snack credits. This is really what I'm getting at, because if you use those snack credits for things like that, you're going to get good value out of those snack credits, which ultimately gives you good value for the dining plan. I mean, that's what the dining plan is supposed to do, right? It's supposed to help you get the most out of your dining dollar. Okay. And if you use it properly, you're going to either A, break even, which is still good because you pay it all up front and so on and so forth, or you're going to even come out ahead saving money. And that's something that you have to take into consideration. And, but the thing is that if you have snacks left over, get the non-perishable items that anywhere you can get them. Some people have even said, hey, go ahead and buy something for a stranger, which I've always thought was kind of nice. You do something magical for somebody. Kathy actually says, hey, use the snack credits for boxed cereals for breakfast or bowls of fruit. Ask the counter service places for additional items that can be used as snacks. Absolutely. Because, keep in mind, a lot of times it's more done by price rather than if you see the little, dining plan logo by the side. So if you don't know, or whether not, something can be used as a snack credit, just ask, and they'll, the cast members there will help clarify that for you. Extra drinks are always really good, especially hot time in the summer. Sometimes we would just pick up an extra bottle of something or another, put it in the fridge, and then you have something to drink, before bedtime or right when you first get up. Was one of the coolest things is that I have a friend of mine that I worked with, and the first time I met her was on a business trip, and we're at the same location, and it was getting kind of late. I'm like, man, I feel like I need a snack. I got to go raid the snack machine or something like that. She goes, do you like Rice Krispie treats? I said, yes, I love Rice Krispie treats. She goes, I got a special Rice Krispie treat. I go, you got a special Rice Krispie treat? And she digs through her bag and she goes, look at this. Pulls out a Mickey Rice Krispie treat. And I'm like, you're awesome. It's as simple as that. So
they're big too.
Oh, they are. Seriously. They're filling too. Yeah. Seriously. So you can do a lot of damage with the snacks. Try to use them throughout the week. That's what they're there for. But, use them to help supplement your dining, your dining dollar. I mean, that's what it's there for. I mean, that's why you bought the dining plan, or why you got the dining plan as an incentive or something like that. Use it to its best advantage. So yeah, I'm not one of the people really complaining that a Mickey premium ice cream bar is $5. It's just, I'm like, wow, that's comparative pricing. It is still quite a bit, but you know what? That's where the dining plan comes into play. It can really help you out. So continue being a foodie, Stephen. By all means, enjoy it. And let us know what some of your favorite restaurants are once you finally come back.
And grow beautiful bodies like me and Chris. Just join the club.
Hey man, bacon and eggs. What can I tell you? Yeah, so cool. Let's see. Karen from Kentucky writes, "Hey guys, thanks for the great show." You're absolutely welcome. Question. We are a family that pretty much runs on cash. We have a credit card, but we never use it. For our upcoming trip in the spring, we plan on using cash and debit cards. I also heard that we can use gift cards at a discount from places like Costco or Sam's Club. Do you think there's any real benefit from these different modes of payment? And are there any gotchas that I need to know about? I think this is actually a really cool question, and let me tell you why. There was somebody, I saw a picture, and I don't know if this is legit or not, but someone listed out that they had $10,000 worth of Disney gift cards.
What?
Yeah. And I don't know if that's true or not. They showed the picture, and it was like $10,000 worth of $50 gift cards.
Oh, my God.
I mean, that's an insane amount. And I was like, wow. But the thing is, they saved $500 by buying them. I guess it was through Sam's or Costco or something like that. Now, $500 is a lot of money. It's not a lot of money when it's compared to $10,000, but it's still a lot of money. I'm not denying that one bit. Now, I don't think this wasn't from Karen, obviously. She's just talking about this. I'm kind of bringing it up for the sake of conversation. So let me throw my 2 cents in on this first. I travel a lot. I travel a lot outside of my Disney trips, and I pretty much travel cashless. Okay. I can go on a week-long business trip to California with $15 in my pocket and not touch it the entire time. And I still, of course, I have to pay everything, at the end of the month, to my, expense account. So here's the thing. I personally believe in the aspect of when you're on vacation, you need a budget. I totally get it. I don't like to go over my particular budgets. But I do believe there's some safety in using a credit card for most transactions at Disney, as well as your travels. There have been times where hotels would put a hold on your debit card, and that hold can be either for the full amount of your stay or even different amounts. I did have a friend of mine that he went to Disney and they put the hold for charging privileges on their debit card, which caused other automatic payments to bounce.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was really pretty bad. Now, granted, some people have said that Disney doesn't put those kinds of charges on their cards anymore, and I can't confirm or deny that, but this is where I'm getting at. I used to tell my daughter, use other people's money first, especially if it's free. And if you can go ahead and like just put everything on a charge card, know what your budget is, that my opinion is you do that. That way, if something goes wrong, you're not tying up your money. You're not tying up your cash that you're going to need to possibly travel home or to have other expenses. Yes, I'm going to say it again. Budgeting is key, and you need to keep track of your expenses, especially if you want to, basically take that credit card bill, pay it off at the end of the month. You're not going to accrue any interest, especially if you don't have anything on it. Now, gift cards, great part about it, you can use as many gift cards as you want. But, you can go in like on a daily basis or every couple days, go to the front desk, just pay your balance down with some gift cards. That's not a problem. Cash is always good, but I'm also one of those cases of, again, keep it in the safe, take only what you need, make sure you budget. But, my whole take on it is that I know if you have multiple gift cards, you can go and consolidate them into one gift card number. But here's a catch. If you pay for your trip with gift cards, don't throw them away. Because if for some reason you have to cancel your trip and you're going to get a refund, it's going to go back on the original card. And if you don't have that original card anymore, you're in trouble.
Oh, I never thought of that one.
Okay, so that's one of those things. It's great. You can save a lot of cash. But this is what I'm saying. If you at least make your reservation and hold everything down with a credit card, not a debit card, you're holding it with somebody else's money for free. Take your gift cards, use them to pay them in the middle of the trip. You'll still have, even if you have a balance when you arrive, you have to, sometimes if you have like a room only, you got to pay off the balance when you get there. Throw those gift cards down, and then get that balance down to zero. You can use those gift cards for meals in the parks or whatever you want, or you can go ahead and charge them to your Magic Band, and then just go back to the front desk. Clear it out a little bit more, and just kind of be careful. Hey, I don't like to come home to a big bill. Okay. But I know that at least the way that my family budgets, when we come home, yes, I'm going to have my Disney vacation sitting on my credit card. But I also know that I have the cash sitting in my bank ready for me to write that check and wipe out that balance. So I have I feel good about that. I'll admit, having a credit card does help. They do, credit card companies keep track of where you spend, mainly for audit and fraud purposes. More than one time, I'd be traveling through Kentucky or Tennessee, and I'd get a call from the credit card company saying, "Hey, by the way, have you been getting gas at gas stations? In 4 different states?" Yes, I have. One of those things. I'm like, please go ahead and just make a note of it. She goes, okay. I now tell my credit card company when I do travel so that I don't even get questioned about it anymore. But I'm glad that someone's got my best interest. They're looking out for it just in case. So yeah, that's a lot of gift cards, Danny. I don't care what you say, but you got to be careful on how you use them. So
I've never paid off a trip using gift cards. I've never done the whole Costco, Sam's Club aspect like she brought up. I've always been curious about it, but something always seemed a little weird to me about that. But I will say this. I bring 4 forms of payment, I guess.
Sure.
Usually when I go down there, it'll be after, Christmas, after Christmas. So I'll always ask for a couple Disney gift cards. So boom, I have them in my wallet. Then I bring my debit card. It's just the easiest way from, everything's linked up to my debit card. Everything's good and dandy. And I have my savings account linked up to it. So if I ever need to shift over money, I'm golden. Then I bring up a backup credit card. God forbid of anything. God forbid, it's on a, on a Sunday morning, it's your first day there. And all of a sudden, they see, something from Florida in there. And I'm always in New Jersey. Wait a minute. They freeze your account. Well, if you only have your debit card, no cash and nothing else, well, guess what? You're not buying anything. It's frozen. It's going to be declined. So I always bring up a backup credit card. I recommend anybody going down, call your bank, wherever you keep your money, call your credit card company, let them know, hey, listen, I'm going on a trip, especially if you're going overseas. That is a big one. Let them know. And lastly, I always carry a certain amount of cash with me. Only because, at the end of the trip, I like to tip the mouse keepers. If I feel like someone did an outstanding job inside the hotel, I'll throw them a couple dollars. I also, if I go get a drink in a hotel and maybe I'm, charging it on my, my Magic Band or whatever the case is, I still like to tip in cash. People like to have cash in their pocket. And let's be honest, we're not knowing. Everybody here knows how it goes. You know, you don't get taxed on cash. I want to look out for these people. I was in that industry for many, many years. I know what it's like. But it's always good to have cash. If you want to, you know, get an Uber home, if you don't want to wait for the monorail or the bus, it's always nice to have cash on you. And you know what? Cash is never turned down. A card cannot scan. It can get turned down. Your bank could freeze your card. You can, you know, somehow maybe someone double charged you or you had bills coming in you didn't realize. And now you have, you know, cash is king in the aspect of it's always taken. Nobody's going to turn down cash. The only problem with cash is God forbid if you lose your wallet while you're in Disney, you can cancel your card. And most card companies, because I've lost my Capital One credit card inside Disney. It's on a Tuesday. I called them that day and said, hey, listen, I'm in Disney on vacation. I lost my credit card. No problem, Danny. They sent me a card to the hotel first overnight. It was there by 10:30 in the morning. Thank you, FedEx. So, you know, I recommend bringing several different ways to pay for things. You know, you can pick which one you want to use primarily. And, you know, what I also like to do is I'll link my debit card or I link my credit card, always my credit card up to my Magic Band. And then I carry my debit card and I'll use, you know, because I don't want to ever go to scan that Magic Band and be like, oh man, I shouldn't have used my debit card. You know, I have a bill coming out today. Then you got to try to transfer money real quick. That's why it's always linked to my credit card. My debit card stays in my pocket along with my cash. That's my personal way. But like I said, when it comes to these whole gift cards and paying your whole trip off and getting discounts, that's new to me. I not new in the aspect of I know people do it. I just have no information really to give to you. I will look into that a little bit more because I have seen it become a bigger and bigger thing. So I will get back to you on that one.
Yeah, I do think that it's one of those things where I know everybody wants trying to save as much as possible. I totally get it. I totally respect that. I don't want to spend more than I have to either. At the same time, I just think there's different ways to making sure that you can actually take advantage of that savings in ways that protects you and your money. What works for you obviously works for you. But at the same time, just, you know, be cautious. I'm like Danny. I carry more than one form of payment. I will say exactly what happened. I was trying to get something from the Food and Wine Festival. I was trying to get some special sushi one time, and I wanted to use my Disney Visa Rewards card. And the thing is that unfortunately the reader at the kiosk at that time wasn't really working with that card at the time. So fortunately I had my Amex with me. So boom, I still got my sushi. And, you know, that was that sort of thing. You know, there was one time that, you know, you need some cash, especially if you want to get, kind of a light up novelty or something like that from the vendors that are walking around, like at Fantasmic or something like that, because they don't take cards. So sometimes you need cash. You know, I usually carry $20 or $30 with me, you know, a day, just to have it around. And I'll tell you right now, 9 times out of 10, it's the same 10 or 50 or same, you know, $20 or $30 that's in my little waterproof pouch, you know, from the beginning to the very end. But I'm glad it's there. Also carrying my ID, of course, as well. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of different ways that you can do it, and there's lots of different ways that you can do it in order to, you know, keep your money safe. So it's not that I don't recommend doing things with numerous debit card or gift cards. I just think that you have to understand the pros and cons. So go ahead and give it a try. Try a few try a few at first, you know, maybe a couple $100 worth, and see if that works for you. And if you know, think it really works well for you, then go ahead and get a little bit more, you know, over the course of a year. I mean, that's how a lot of people actually use that as their Disney savings account. They'll go ahead and, you know, they'll buy a $50 gift card a week. And if you buy it at Sam's, it's like $47.50 or something like that. Every little bit helps. So I'm all for, you know, saving $1 at Disney. So, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have our last question here, Danny.
Oh.
And yeah, last question of the night. It's Casey from Virginia, and he says, "Hey guys, it's Casey. No, Chris, I'm not the inventor of the corn dog nugget."
Ah, shucks! I got excited.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I thought for a minute it was Casey, saying, "Hey, I want to actually sponsor you guys from Corn Dog Nuggets," but unfortunately, I mean, I read the note later, and I'm like, "Oh, well, okay, so much for that idea." He goes, "Have you ever done any tourist attractions in the Central Florida area, like Universal or SeaWorld? What about Kennedy Space Center? I want to try some of these different things, but I'm a little nervous I'm going to get disappointed because it's not Disney. Any tips on how to set some expectations if I try anything else? Thanks and keep up the great show." That's a good question, and this is going to get a little tricky. I haven't been to SeaWorld since I was 8 years old or something like that. I remember SeaWorld, and I'm sure it's